Welcome back, guys. In this video, we're talking about the low fidelity design for social media app. So as usual, we'll start with the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Rename that to social media app, low fidelity wireframe. Yes, low fidelity wireframe. So after that, the next thing I'll do, I'll just zoom into my frame and go ahead designing the low fidelity markup. So as usual, I'll start my feather icons. Just search that, increase this. You get to flatten it, use this, move it to the left, top left of the screen. Then I'll search the user icon, increase the size after moving it to the left top right of the screen. Then next will be a text, messages, bold that, increase it to the shortcut command shift and greater than sign. Center that to the center of this frame, social media low fidelity wireframe. So after that, I'll just create a rectangle, not a text, sorry, a rectangle, just more of like a background for the header. Yes, so low height, everything is to the edge, then move it below, yes, below the header options. Yes, looking good. So the next one will be to search font, Montserrat, very good font. Just type that online users, move it up. Online users. After that, I'll use the ellipse tool to make some circular shapes. Circular shapes that I can embed images in to show the status of the users, whether online or offline. I'll use the 17 pixel gutter and the Alt key to duplicate this across. So highlight everything, distribute it evenly. Yes, distribute it, highlight everything in this. Then I'll just tidy up. Yes, after that, next thing I'll do is to see how I can further modify this design to look good. Yes. So I'll highlight all these ellipse tools. After highlighting them, the next thing I'll do is to move it to the right using my keyboard. Just try to make it look like a swipeable object. Just trying to look at the design, my inspiration, and make sure everything is looking just like it. So what I'll do is just to add auto layouts to that for all those frames. And I think that's just it. The plugins, I use the Unsplash plugin. And at a random, I might just, on those presets, I'll just maybe select portrait. So it's just going to give me random images of human heads. So it's downloading. As you can see, it's downloading, and that's just it. These are more of like online users. So I'm just going to create another ellipse tool. I'll zoom in and create a little ellipse tool. I'll just drag a little, nope. So I'll remove the auto layout on this. Yes, so it just look like a frame so that you stop automatically adjusting the flow and settings of all those elements. So I'll just create something green with a stroke of white to indicate those users are online. Yes. Then duplicate that, using the Alt key. Just click and drag. It's just going to duplicate. So after that, I'll just try to group what's necessary. Or before I do the grouping, let me just do some little typing. Chris. That's the name of the user that is online, Christopher. Then I'll center this. After centering it, I'll just try and group everything with Christopher. Yes. That's the Christopher is the first online user. So I'll just try and group everything. Okay, so I'll just use another plugin here. another plugin here, the wireframe. Just search for image. Sorry, these are supposed to be images before I even go ahead with grouping. Like, this is supposed to be the placeholder of an image, not the actual image. Okay, I think I made a mistake with the color is supposed to, of those little circles are supposed to be ash 2. So I'll just go ahead and correct that for you guys to see here. So yes, image. Click that, center that. Yes. So as you can see, that's how you have some few back and forth moments whenever you're doing designs. So the fill is supposed to be normal colors. There's normal colors, which are ash. Now use the plugin, use the feather icons to bring in the image. Yes, then I would also try to flatten that because I don't want much stress. Okay, with the vector, then I'll center that, hold the Alt key, move it, hold the Alt key, move it. That's how I'll just center it within all the ellipse to the right. Center that. The guidelines are there to automatically show you when it's centered. Then I'll change this field to ash. Or yeah, just use the color code there, ash. I think, yeah, this is just what it's supposed to be. So Christopher, duplicate that, no, hold the Alt key, click, then change this to John, shift that. Same thing, use the Alt key, edit this to Penny, use the Alt key, nope, use the Alt key, edit that to, let's say, yes, shift Kenny, well, then duplicate this. Duplicate is just monk, these are just, then duplicate the final one. These are just demo names for us to go kickstart this mock-up design. Quincy, yes. So that is it for the online users section. So we'll move down to our design page and add more features to this low fidelity design for our social media app. So first of all, after the online users, the next section would have to be something to display charts after a horizontal line. Yes, the number of messages that are sent by the online users and the charts for us to work with. So that's just how this is going to go. So first of all, I'll just draw the horizontal line. Draw the horizontal line. Change the color, or I'll just leave that as it is. Then the next thing I'll do is to just use the shift key, create ellipse circles. I'll just click the image, I'll create another one to show that, change this color to black. Yes. Now increase the size a bit, move it. It's supposed to be bigger, then type a text, just 3. Then I'll just move that tree to the center, change the color to white. So you all get what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to show the number of messages that have been sent by somebody. So just duplicate the vector of the image placeholder. It's at the center, then I'll move it up above the ellipse. That's just it. So you get that field of 3 messages sent. The next thing I'll love to do is to try to, let me see, group some certain things here. Yes, just group them so that when I'm doing the high fidelity design, I'll be a lot faster when it's grouped. I won't have to go ahead and repeat this process. So I'm just trying to group all the sections here so that when I'm doing the high fidelity, it's very easy for me to manipulate them because everything is layered and aligned orderly. So online users, yes. So I group all these to header, all this to header. So that's just it. Everything is looking good now. So for the names, I'll just be dragging the names inside where it's supposed to be. Yeah. So if I off that, see, everything's putting on. I'll just drag the name in each group where it's supposed to be. Just drag them in each group where it's supposed to be. So that once I off any section, the name, the ellipse, the image placeholder, and the online signal, then the status of the user, or be in a particular group that can be switched on and off at the click of the visibility button, just like an eye icon to on and off a particular layer or element on the layer section of this Figma software. So I'll group this to charts. Then within my chart, I'll continue designing. So for here now will be Ellen Lambert. So I'll bold that. Then for the text will just be, hey, how's it going? Yes. Then align that to the left. Give that a bit spacing. Then for the text, I'll just type something for timestamp, 4:56 a.m. Move that. Yes, just move that. So after that, I'll just move the rectangle tool, then duplicate, then hold shift and out. Select the layer, hold shift and out. I'll just group the chart, select the rectangle layer. Yes, hold the Alt key, drag it down, then just pressing the duplicates command, Ctrl D. Then check out your Figma shortcut commands for Windows or Mac. So I shift all of them up and I deselect last one, shift all of them up just to give them make it more compact and not chanty. So shift this up too. So once I'm done with that, I can continue duplicating from the last one. Then hold the Alt key, 16 pixel gutter space, press Ctrl D, press it one more time. It automatically catches the space in between and works with that for you. That's basically what it does. So I'll click the horizontal line and shift it up a bit, and you can see everything's looking good. So when I hold the Alt key for that, drag it down and press the Ctrl D, see automatically duplicates and spreads everything out vertically within my frame. So these are things you need to try out when using your Figma software. So I'll just group all that to HR lines, which mean horizontal lines. So that's just it. Then I'll drag a little background here to signify my footer menu section. Yes, so using my feather icons, I'll just increase the height of that and search some certain things like home. Just click and drag home. Search something else. This is social media. It's just like a live something on video. Search messages. This is for message. Then I'll also search notifications. So this is for notifications. So the next one I'll search for a profile or user. So this will signify the user. All of them 56 pixel gutter. So I'll just close all the groups. Close all the groups. Then flatten them. I just don't want much stress here. Flatten them once and for all. Flatten. So as you can see, I just use the shortcut for flatten for the rest, and I'll just center all of them to the center of this particular frame. So that's just it. So I'll just type home, move that to the center, then I'll just duplicate, I'll group this, group that, move it, rename it to home. So the same thing I'll do for this, put a text streams and align this center, group the two, group streams, the text and the vector, group that, rename it to streams. So see how cool that functionality is. Then messages, try to group. What I'm trying to achieve here, I want everything to be grouped in this particular low fidelity mockup. I'll just teach you guys standard ways to group things and design upward. Notifications, very important. Don't use scattered layers. It's not professional when you're working with teams. Try to clutter your elements instead of grouping everything to look nice and clean. From low fidelity to high fidelity, everything is top notch. So that editing will be easy. So the last one with profile, group it, rename it to profile. Then I'll just highlight those groups now. Just highlight them. Yes, group it and rename it to menu bar. So once I off it, see everything is going off. center it. That's all for this video. See you guys in the next one. Come back, guys. In this video, we'll be focusing on the high fidelity design of our frames for the social media app. So before we even do that, we'll just design video call screen, more of like the live streaming section when the users click the stream button. So I'll zoom in to my frame and get started. First of all, I'll draw a rectangle shape here. Give it a radius of 30 for the rounded corners. Increase the height. Then I'll still click on it. Give it a drop shadow. Sorry, a layer blur and a dark fill. Reduce the opacity of that particular fill to maybe 50 something percent. Okay, I'll bring it down to 43. Then the main background, I'll just select an image for that. That's the main frame background. To do that, I'll just leave it back to its normal fill and click my Unsplash plugin. Mind you, Unsplash brings you a lot of images. So I'll use portrait for a start. Okay. This looks like a studio picture, so I'll still click portrait. And it's something that resonates with this design. Okay, this can look like a video call. So I'll leave it as it is. Then I'll go down and design the menu buttons, the footer menu buttons, the menu bar, bottom menu bar on this particular frame. So I'll first start with my ellipse tool, holding the shift and alt key on the keyboard to draw a perfect ellipse. Then after that, I'll just reduce the opacity, reduce it down to like 56%. Then use the alt key to duplicate them with 21 pixel gutter in between. Highlight all of the ellipse and shift it to the center of this particular frame. So after that, I'll just create a little horizontal bar and give it 30 border radius, 30 pixel border radius, and reduce the opacity. Then align it to the center. Looks like a button to drag the controls up. So after that, I'll use my feather icons, brightness, drag that into my ellipse, the first ellipse, flatten it so that it will become a single vector, change the color to white, then group it with this particular ellipse and drag them inside this frame we're working on. Then rename the layer, set it as brightness. So I'll use the alignment buttons on that particular group. The next shape will be mute, change the fill to white, just similar to what we just did for the first. Flatten the vector, group the two layers, rename it to mute, then drag it into this particular frame we're working on. Yes, so the next one will be like a camera stuff. So just to signify you need to flip your camera button like that. So drag it to the ellipse. Do the same thing, use the alt key to customize the size, then flatten that particular group. Drag it inside our frame and hold control and highlight the two layers and group them, rename it to camera. So I'll just reduce the size of this camera. Use the alignment buttons on them for it to be aligned at the center horizontally and vertically. So the last one, still use my feather icons, bring in a last icon. Yes, then we change this one, the fill to red, and use the cancel icon to signify like someone is trying to cancel the call. So I'll zoom in and increase the size, drag and drop at the ellipse, flatten, then group as usual. Yes. No, that's not the circle I'm supposed to group it with. Yes, this one. Highlight the two, group it, rename it to cancel, drag it inside this particular frame. Then I can easily just group all the frames. Sorry, I can easily group the 4 buttons that we just created. Yes, I can easily just group them to make them easy to handle. but we'll go ahead and draw a rectangle at the top right, give it a border radius of 30 for the rounded corners. I'll reduce that to 20. Then run the feather icons. Instead of the feather icons, I'll just run an image straight, portrait. Once I click portrait, it fills that rectangle with an image. Okay, my network speed, as you can see, it wrote downloading. So kind of waiting for it to be downloaded. So mind you, whenever you're working with Figma, always have a good internet speed to avoid downtime and slow response from the software. So still load. Okay, it just stopped loading. The next thing I'll do, I'll restart it again, and as you can see, it just worked. So whenever you face that glitch like that, cancel the plugin and repeat the same process. So I'll just type the user's name, Catherine Lynch, align that topmost with the image, then I'll type the number of minutes spent on this particular call, align that to the left, so zoom out. So as you can see, our call screen is looking very good. So the next thing I'll do is to see how I can, let's say, add more features to this design. I'll start by duplicating this. I'll duplicate it because I didn't do the low fidelity on. I just did the high fidelity. So I'll duplicate the low fidelity for the messages too. I'll just zoom out and shift this at the right. Then I'll just rename the second one to video call screen high fidelity, rename the first one to low fidelity. And I have to do some edits here, remove the image, then remove the background image too. Then change the color from red to something dark. Then for this image, I'll use the feather icons, search image, and put the placeholder there. So it serves as an image. Then for the rectangle, serves as an image. Then flatten it, drag it into, then hold the Alt key. This serves as the background image for the second user. So I think that's it for the low fidelity. So I'll edit the name of the messages to high fidelity wireframe. So after that, I'll just dive in working on my groups. So for all the ellipse, I'll just highlight all the ellipse so that I'll place an image in them. This serves as all the ellipse that I can embed pictures in it. So I'll just use click portrait and wait for it to load. So you can see the percentage is increasing 33%. So just give it some time. Network speed. Always have very good network speed whenever you're working with Figma. My network provider has been a little bit glitchy in the past few days. That's why you see throughout some of these videos in this course, we've been having network issues. So I think I'm wasting a lot of time waiting for this. So if I wait a little longer and it doesn't do what I want, I have to cancel this plugin, restart the process again. It will be a lot more faster. That's what I noticed. So I just cancel it, call the Unsplash plugin again, and click portraits. So you see how it's gonna do a lot more faster. Yes, just look at that, very fast. Okay, so that's it. So I just zoom in now and delete all the image highlights, all the second ellipse, the ones that indicate the status of the user, whether the user is online or offline. Now change it to green. Yes. So for the remaining vectors, I'll highlight them and I'll simply delete it. Yes. So that's it. So I'll go to the next one, the next section, which is the charts section. In this section, I'll just try to make some few edits to the messages that have been sent. I'll start with the first one. Yes, the first one, the vector, I'll delete it. The ellipse, I'll change the background to red. Then the plugin, I'll just change it to Unsplash. Select portrait, it's just going to embed a picture. Nice looking picture from it there. Then reduce the opacity of the timestamp. So I'll do the same thing for the next one. Opacity of the timestamp, reduce it to 50%. Then reduce the second one to 50%. So it indicates that the user has read this particular message. Yes. So I'll change it to Elon Musk, change it to red. Then I'll just use the right click button on Splash. Click portrait. It's just going to embed a nice picture for me. Once that's done, I just delete. I'll change it to 1, delete the text, edit it to 1. So I'll basically just do the same thing for the next one. Opacity, 50%. How's it going? 50%. It's been read already. So delete the vector. I also delete the number of charts. Then also put on Splash to embed an image for me here. So that's just it. So the next one I'll just do is to delete the vector as usual, delete the ellipse, the second ellipse, embedded picture, with a portrait, set presets. Yes, that's looking good. So how's it going? 50%, timestamp 50%. So you can literally just highlight the 2 layers and hit 50% there to still work. So I'm just I'm just doing the basic things so that you people get used to opacity in layers. So I'll just change this to Mark Zuckerberg, change this to confidence arbitration, just to make it look dynamic. Mind you, this is just a mock-up, doesn't really matter, but let's just move on. So embed the picture tool, portrait, embed the portrait picture here, Ellen Lambert. Then reduce this opacity 50%. Then I'll just do the same thing. Then change the name, Abigail Tinubu. So for the next one, the same thing, delete the messages notification, delete the ellipse, plug in on Splash, embed an image there. Okay, no, I made a mistake. Just remove this to normal view. Yes, reduce it to normal view. Yes. Supposed to click on the ellipse before I do that. So that was a mistake. Sorry about that, guys. The circle shape before I click the portrait for it to. If you don't click your layers well, it will just append the image on that particular frame you're working on, which might confuse you. So as you can see, my network speed is here again, doing its thing as usual. So if I just cancel it and call the Unsplash plugin again and click the portrait. So after that, I just edit the name to Timothy Steele. Then I edit the opacity to 50%. Then delete the next email notifications. Sorry, the text chat notifications, delete the vectors, then click the ellipse, call the Unsplash plugin as usual, portraits, yes. So that's just it. You can see we're just doing some re-editing here. I believe by now you've gotten the concept of this social media app. So mind you can always download lots of templates from the websites I showed you earlier. So you can try out recreating a particular design. Once you've done that 3, 4 times, 5 times, and you see you're good at that, trust me, your you're on the right track. So just don't lose focus and keep practicing. Practice makes perfect. So I think that's it. All the layers. Change this one name to Coach Taylor. Just random names, random names that comes to my head. So then for the messages, I'll just click the text, change it to red, click the vector, change it to red, and that's it. So after that, I'll just try to have a look at our design, zoom out a bit, for us to see the difference between the lo-fi and the hi-fi. And also these are a few of the projects we've done throughout this Figma course.